Welcome to Marketplace Finds, where we show off some crazy and interesting cars for sale, judge what we think of the price, then order it in our tier list. This absolute monster of a Ford Bronco is what OJ needed when he was running from the police, as a full desert racing weapon that someone has dumped money into. The axle and suspension setup lets you drive over a small village and only notice the fuel gauge moving. It's got a 3.5 litre EcoBoost making 470 horsepower. Even the interior is better quality than most modern SUVs. The seller is wanting a huge $150,000, which is crazy, but the price of this Honda Civic is even crazier, because you just know there was a laptop riding shotgun at some point, like it's a heart monitor. It's running a fully built B18, a built transmission, an upgraded clutch to cope with the big turbo hanging off the front, and enough piping to look like a Home Depot plumbing aisle exploded under the hood. On pump gas, it's already making around 455 horsepower, which is insane for something that still technically started life as a commuter car, but don't worry, it gets better, because it was previously running on E85 and 45 pounds of boost, making a ridiculous 800 horsepower, which might just be Facebook talk for adding an extra zero on the end of that figure, but who knows. As you'd expect, the interior is gutted and caged, but you're not buying this thing for comfort. You're buying it to gap supercars and blow flames out the hood. They're wanting $14,000, and considering it seems to be well built and even low miles, with only 85,000 if those power figures hold true, I can easily see it selling for that much. Next is a 1995 Nissan 240 SX Coupe, and it's one of those cars that looks like it's been assembled from 3 different Craigslist crackheads. The panels are all there, just not in the same chapter of the story. You've got mismatched paint, unfinished bodywork, and enough different shades to qualify as a test panel for a paint shop. That said, underneath the visual identity crisis is a genuinely cool setup that just needs someone to give it some love, because under the hood is a running RB25. Just ignore the poop brown engine bay color. It's even had the big brake upgrade and comes with these work Rezax wheels, which alone cost around $3,500 new. Even the interior is all there and looks relatively clean, which is getting pretty rare on these cars. The seller is after $14,000, which, let's be real, is already too high for a 240. Because they're getting rarer, the price keeps going up. This is a 6-door Ford Excursion, which means someone looked at a regular one and said, yeah, but what if it caused more problems in parking lots? It's the automotive equivalent of bringing a fifth wheel camper to a McDonald's drive-thru and acting surprised when you get stuck. Other than its elongated shape, the Marine Corps digital camo wrap is adorable, because there's absolutely nothing stealthy about a 6-door diesel SUV the size of a starter home. It was used for camping, with an awning and a rooftop tent fitted, because nothing says preparedness like having a backup bedroom on top of your already enormous one. On the inside, you're expecting bare plywood, exposed wiring, and a lingering smell of diesel and bad decisions, but instead you get legit custom leather, decent stitching, and seats that look like they belong in a high-end Texas oil exec's daily. You've got what I think is 9 seats, so if you're planning a road trip with your entire bloodline, you're covered. They're asking $81,000, which explains why it's been sitting for almost half a year. For that money, you could just buy 2 very good trucks and still have cash left for fuel. Up next, we have a 1998 Isuzu Rodeo, a vehicle that somehow looks worse now than it did when it was forgotten behind every strip mall in 2004. The exterior is a greatest hits album of bad decisions, with mismatched panels, sun-faded paint, and a front bumper that's barely participating. Thanks to some custom fabrication and 2 other car manufacturers' suspension, it's slammed to the ground. Well, I'd probably call this more collapsed. It apparently goes up and down on shop air, which means this thing relies on whatever compressor is nearby to feel alive, like a sick patient needing a ventilator. At one point, it had an LS1 in it, likely before the seller realized it's worth a lot more than the car it was in. The rear interior is completely gone. No floor, no tunnel, no seats, just a clear view straight to the pavement, so you can watch the road try to fight back every time this thing scrapes the ground. They want $2,500 for it, which is a lot more than the scrap price I'd be offering them. Next up is a 1984 Ford F350, and this thing looks like it's lived at least 3 separate lives, all of them involving hard labor, poor financial decisions, and cheap cigarettes. As you can see, it's had a custom sleeper cab attached to it, with emphasis on the custom part, because I'm sure just by the look of it that it leaks water inside, probably through the bolt holes used to attach that silly wing on top. Out back, you get some good old twin stacks and a bed that's decayed a fair bit, but it does have a gooseneck and fifth wheel setup, so that's a bonus. Unpictured is a legendary 6.9 IDI powering it, and it's of course mated to a manual transmission, because automatics are for people who still enjoy their knees. And then we get to the interior shots of that sleeper cab, which somehow reveal a normal bench seat. I'm assuming it folds out into a bed, and by bed, I mean something a 5-foot tall raccoon could sleep comfortably on. As for the price, they're asking $6,000, which honestly feels about right for a truck that can tow your house, haul your bad decisions, and double as a damp nap pod. You might think the Hilux or Tacoma is Toyota's greatest truck ever made, but that's only because you haven't laid eyes on this absolute menace yet. It's a 2001 Toyota BB open deck, because at some point a Scion XB wasn't confusing enough on its own, so Toyota chopped the back off, gave it a bed the size of a pizza box, and quietly sold it only in Japan so no one would ask follow-up questions. The yellow yellow paint is doing a lot of heavy lifting here, paired with white center stripes that suggest speed, aggression, and confidence, none of which this thing technically possesses, because under the hood is the mighty 1.5 litre engine pushing out a heroic 110 horsepower, which means it'll eventually get up to speed as long as the road is downhill. And of course it's got the yellow on yellow paint and interior combo, complete with the Momo steering wheel, and if your friend's legs have been amputated, they might actually fit in the back seats. They're asking $9,000, which is objectively too much, and yet here I am thinking, damn, I kind of want one. 85% of you still aren't subscribed, so if you enjoy our videos, make sure to click that subscribe button. This right here is the kind of gold I'm scrolling Marketplace for at 2 AM. It's an original Chargers cart, which means it looks like a football helmet had a baby with the golf cart and nobody stopped it. Full wrap, full cage, tiny wheels, and perfect for ramming other golf carts off the road. I'm not even a football fan. This thing just hits that goofy build spot that would be hilarious to drive around in. It does run and drive, but the seller says it does need work, but doesn't elaborate any further than that. So there's even some mystery behind it. They also say they've dumped thousands into it, and judging by the custom bodywork and padded interior, I believe them, I just don't understand why. For the $6,500 asking price, the only people buying it is a mega Chargers fan with disposable income and poor impulse control. This one's a little different. It technically was on wheels at one point, but not in a drive at home kind of way. This is a 1920s railroad caboose, which means instead of checking tire tread, your first problem is figuring out how the hell you even move it without borrowing a crane. The seller calls it a restoration project or a DIY Airbnb, which is optimistic given it looks like it was last occupied sometime during the Great Depression. Inside it's all there, the red carpet of unknown origin, the wood paneling that predates indoor plumbing standards, and a layout that says livable in the most optimistic, legally questionable sense of the word. And of course, the ad helpfully confirms they don't know the weight, the measurements, or anything else that might be useful if you are attempting to relocate a full-size train caboose onto your property. Originally, they wanted $15,000, but now $5,000 takes it, which feels fair because once you buy this thing, your bank account is no longer your biggest problem. You ever look at a car and can immediately diagnose the owner with having schizophrenia? Well, here's one, a 1989 Mazda MX-6, which appears to have been used as a combination of a daily driver, emotional outlet, and rolling group chat. Every panel is a different color, and most of the stuff you can't even read what it says. It's layered, corrected, crossed out, and rewritten like a public bathroom wall with opinions. You've got peace signs, hearts, slogans, half-finished thoughts, and motivational quotes that absolutely did not motivate this car to keep running, because not only is the paint bad, it apparently burns oil like a two-stroke, and the front brakes barely work among many other issues. The seller's after $2,500, which tells me they've been breathing in as much paint as they put down on the car. This is a 2020 Pikmin LSV mini truck, and it has the same confidence to ability ratio as a guy built like a stick starting beef with a 300-pound bouncer, because this truck, if you can even call it that, is not only electric with a 72-volt setup, but has a blistering 25 miles per hour top speed, so at least you won't be getting any speeding tickets, but you probably won't be getting anywhere too. With a tiny bed, what are you even hauling? A houseplant? A single bag of mulch? Because you're not going far or carrying much before the battery calls it quits. I really thought it was going to be cheaper than this, but at the $5,800 asking price, I'd take a clapped out Ford Ranger any day of the week. Next up is a Tuggy Sandbox go-kart. It's one of those builds where someone clearly woke up and chose creativity over common sense, and honestly, we're better off for it. Underneath what used to be a harmless sandbox from your childhood is a Honda GX200, fully rebuilt and modified to the point where it's no longer playing games. It's been de-governed, cammed, and even has a lightened flywheel, and apparently can do over 50 miles per hour with a full-grown adult on board. Visually, it rides low, looks ridiculous, and reportedly handles way better than something shaped like a cartoon tugboat ever should. They're after $1,500, and I'll be honest, I'm surprised it hasn't sold already. Every single Garage Gold episode needs one absolutely unhinged Pontiac Fiero, and today it's this one. It's a 1987 model, and you probably wouldn't know it because it's wearing a pheno body kit, which has basically transformed it into some sort of Wish.com supercar. But first the paint job, which love it or hate it, the chameleon is honestly super well done, especially given what these usually look like and how this was probably painted back in the early 2000s. Other than that, the body kit is wide, dramatic, aggressively curvy, but what the hell is up with the 10 light bulbs on that rear trunk? It's like spider eyes looking back at you. Under that rear hatch though is the real party trick because someone stuffed a V8 into it, which again I can't even hate. That's definitely a cool upgrade. They want $12,500, and sure I'd never spend that money on it, but it sure beats all of the horrific body kits we've seen time and time again. I know we've seen plenty of terrible replica and kit cars, so it's about time we found one that's actually done right. As you can see, it's a 1989 Batmobile, and unlike most replicas, this one doesn't immediately fall apart under closer inspection. Everything is just right, the proportions, the paint and so on, and that would be because it's built the same way the original movie cars were, by stitching two Chevrolet Impala or Caprice chassis together, stretched out to that full, ridiculous Batmobile length. Then I can't even imagine how much time went into the bodywork to get it this accurate, but someone spent a very long time making it perfect. perfect. It even runs and drives because of a Chevy V8, and apparently even the cockpit controls, the gadgets and flame effects are all working. And now to the price, which to absolutely no one's surprise, they are asking an eye-watering $350,000. So you could have one of the coolest cars on the road, or something sensible like a house. This is a 2011 Mini Cooper, and before we go any further, yes, there is a full-blown Pokemon wrap on a British car wearing Japanese anime graphics being sold in America. The exterior is doing a lot. Bright yellow everywhere, lightning bolts ripping across the panels with Pikachu and whatever this guy is front and center, like they're about to challenge you to a street race you didn't sign up for. It's genuinely well done, which somehow makes it worse. The sides feature that Pokemon that I don't recognize again, which means I'll be educated by the comments section immediately. Mechanically, it's got a rebuilt turbo, rebuilt motor, rebuilt transmission, and new suspension, so essentially every major component has already had its turn failing, like a proper Mini should. And then they want $18,000, which feels like they've finally done the math and realized how much it's costed them, and are trying to claw back every dollar. This is the 1998 VW Jetta Trek Edition, a car that from the factory actually came with the bicycle mounted to the roof, which is genuinely cool, or it would be if this one didn't look like this. The wrap, or whatever we're calling it now, is so sun faded and tired, it's actively peeling itself off in protest, and I still can't tell what the design was meant to be. It's just a bunch of random coloured lines going in every direction, like a broken barcode that gave up halfway through printing. Underneath the abstract art installation, you've got the classic 2-litre and a 5-speed manual, but there's no battery, no registration, and the seller straight up says it should probably be towed, so I'm guessing the factory bike bailed on this thing a long time ago. At $600 though, we finally have a seller who isn't completely delusional about the value of their rolling junk pile. I don't know what's in the water lately, but these custom golf cart owners are definitely drinking it. As you can see, this one literally has an aircraft body from a Cessna grafted onto it, which would be awesome, except for how they literally only gave us one exterior shot of it, but at least he gave us 5 pictures of the interior. Thanks bud. They want $7,500, and let's be real, it's going to be double that before it's done, so I doubt any buyers are jumping on it. Here's how the final tier list ended up. Let us know what we got right, what we got wrong, if there's anything to change around. If you find your own interesting or crazy car, you can send it to us using the link in the description. Thanks to the couple people who've already done that. Otherwise, make sure to follow us on Instagram and TikTok, like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.